That's why we call it Justus, because it's just us.
Not a problem for you, Power Man.
Welcome to the Justice League, and let's get to it. Okay, getting into the first 4 episodes of Luke Cage. These pretty much serve as an introduction to the character. It really sets the stage for him in Cottonmouth and what makes them who they are, and it's really interesting how their origin is from one person, but its influence on both Luke and Cornell is from a place of protection, and it sets them on 2 different paths. I thought that was an interesting dynamic. Now, like I explained in my breakdown videos, the Netflix shows are more like the graphic novels of the MCU, so while they are still connected, they're more closed off than, say, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You'll get the MCU mentions, but it's more from a street level, context-wise. Like, yo, I got this video of Tony Stark and the big blonde dude with the hammer. It's from a more average person's perspective. While on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you'll get more in-depth Ultron or Sokovia mentions because they work for the government like a Coulson or a Daisy, so they're more privy to certain info. Okay, let's get into Easter eggs. The moment of truth. In this episode, the first thing that jumps out at you is the soundtrack. Luke Cage was created in 1972. It was inspired by the blaxploitation films of the 70s. So that's why the music sounds like it does. It's meant to be a throwback to those old films like Shaft and Superfly. Even the lingo is a homage to that era. Step off, sucker. Early on in the episode, we get a name drop for Power Man, which is Luke Cage's hero alias in the comics, and Cottonmouth, which is Cornell's street name. The Justin Hammer reference was gold. For those that don't remember, Justin Hammer was Tony Stark's competition in Iron Man 2. He was also the money behind the Whiplash technology. Super nerd moment with Misty Knight. She's still a cop on the show, but in the comics she goes on to be a member of Heroes for Hire, a group consisting of Misty, Luke Cage, and next year's Iron Fist. Another character from the comics is Shades. And if he comes off like a badass, it's because he is. In the comics, he's a hand-to-hand expert, self-taught by the way, and he's thrown down with Iron Fist and Luke Cage many times. Diamondback is another villain from the comics, so that's a nice mention. When Luke tells the owners of Genghis Khanis that he's not for hire, that's foreshadowing that he will be in the future, as the group that he forms with the other street-level heroes is called just that. Code of the Streets. In this episode, we get the first real mention of Seagate Prison, which is where Luke gets his powers from in the comics and the show. Fun fact, it's also the same prison that Trevor, aka Fake Mandarin, gets sent to after he's arrested in Iron Man 3. Who's gonna take the weight? When Chico refers to Luke as one of them, that's another connection to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the whole Inhuman ordeal. Remember, the president outed them to the public last year, so everyone walking around with superpowers is kind of lumped in with that group. The argument that Misty is having with her partner in the police precinct is a nod to Civil War. It's just more subtle, so while they don't bring up the Accords or anything specific, they use the incident, referring to the attack on New York in the first Avengers movie, to pick their sides. Misty is very much pro-government in this argument, or pro-Iron Man, so to speak, saying that they, meaning the heroes, are vigilantes and they don't have the training, and it's not their decision to dish out justice the way they see fit and take the law into their own hands, while Wraith is basically saying, look, they're helping people, but they're also making our jobs easier. I know what we can do, and I know what we can't do. So by them stepping up and doing these things that it would take us months to do, that's like what Cap was saying. We've made the world a better place. That was the purpose of the Avengers. So it's just 2 sides. More context to Civil War. Step in the arena. We get nods to the classic look of Luke from the comics all through this episode, from the afro and the beard to even the exact costume. It's funny because at this point the show makes fun of how weird Luke Cage looked in the 70s, where basically he's looking at his reflection, he's like, you look like a goddamn fool. I like that part. Another nod to the comics was the Seagate prison experiments. The program was another attempt at making the super soldier serum. So look at it as Captain America kicking off an arms race for super soldiers. You had the Pym particles in the Ant-Man suit, the Red Room creating Black Widow, experiments with gamma radiation, the soldier pills, and so on. Also, the inclusion of Officer Rackman and Dr. Noah Burstein were part of the comics as well. The millionaires being hidden in dungeons reference from Reva Connors was talking about Justin Hammer after he got arrested in Iron Man 2. He was pretty much treated as a terrorist and they threw him in a hole and threw away the hole. The flash drive that Reva has is the same one that she was killed for in the flashback in Jessica Jones. Like, that was the one that the Purple Man or Kilgrave took from her before you made Jessica kill her. The breakout, like Luke punching his way through the walls, that was straight out of the comics, so that was a very nice touch. Okay, those were the Easter eggs, and what did you guys think of the first 4 episodes of Luke Cage? If I missed something, please feel free to post them in the comment section. Just remember that if you're going to talk about specific moments from the show or theorize if you haven't watched everything yet like me, use spoiler tags because everyone didn't get to sit and watch everything in one sitting. But yeah, Luke Cage episodes 1 through 4. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Alright nerds, with that, I'm gonna bring this video to a close. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like what you are seeing, please subscribe, please thumbs up, and please share. One or all of those things are greatly appreciated. If you want to check out some of my other MCU related videos, you can check out my MCU in 5 minutes part 2 and 3 videos. Until next video, peace.